Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talk. So I hope everybody's having a great day. Got a super exciting video planned out for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about silver and gold and the Brics meeting that's coming up. Now, I know right now a lot of people are thinking, we've heard this before, the whole Brics meeting and what that's going to mean for the dollar and on and on. But what's interesting that's happening right now is how gold and silver is really starting to ramp up. So gold just broke 2,700. It's at 2,711 right now. And we've got silver up also. It's trading over $32 again, which is pretty close to its 11-year high. Now, why is that happening? I believe it has something to do with the Brics, so we're going to talk about that today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, help me out. It really does help the channel. And leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts about what's going on and why the price is going up. There's a million reasons why silver and gold are going up and are going to keep going up. But I think there's something interesting happening right now. So I really wanted to talk about that today, especially it being Friday. It's probably going to be a slow weekend because nothing's trades on the weekend. So this is it as we go into the weekend. And then next week, we could see some crazy stuff happening with the Brics meeting. We got the Fed meeting just a couple weeks away. Before we get too much into that, I want to do a quick plug for our members only event. We do have our event going on right now for October, where we are giving away this beautiful 1987 San Francisco MS69 Certified Eagle, a $250 coin. If you scan it on the NGC app, it will give you all the specs and everything about that coin, the numbers. So if you'd like to become a member, like I said, it's only $1.99 to join, and the cool stuff that you can win is pretty awesome. So it's worth it, and there's only going to be a handful of spots left. I'm not even sure the exact number right now. It is going down. I'm going to do a short video probably this evening, and that will probably finish off the spots. We are doing a 100 square. So basically only the first 100 members can get in, and it's going to be based off a football game. So hopefully we'll get to do that really soon. It's going to be a ton of fun, and every month we do a cool event. So jumping in though to gold and silver, as gold and silver is really starting to ramp up again, trading at, like I said, gold trading at 27.11 right now, and it's starting to move forward. Now I believe something could be going on if every year that the Brics have had their meeting, they've had some sort of a big announcement, and you hear a lot of hype come up before these meetings that, oh, it's the end of the dollar, or oh, it's the end of this, or major changes coming, or all these different things, and nothing ever happens, and it kind of desensitizes people, I believe, to it, because they get so used to hearing something big is going to happen, and then when they hear it now, nothing happens, and then nothing happens, but then eventually something does happen. And now I'm having people ask me, didn't they say something big was going to happen last year? Haven't you talked about the Brics before? Why, what makes you think this is going to be any different? And here's the thing. It's not necessarily that this one is going to be any different. In fact, this one could be identical to the other meetings. But when you really look at what's happened at the other meetings, we're seeing gold at an all-time high right now. We're seeing silver at an 11-year high right now. What is causing it to really rack up? Well, a lot of that we know is inflation. It is devaluation of the dollar. But more importantly, what is causing that devaluation of the dollar? It's not just that they're overprinting money. A lot of it also has to do with the fact that a lot of countries are dumping the dollar. They're positioning themselves to move away from it little by little. They wouldn't be able to do overnight. If you had, we'll say, trillion shares of, I don't know, Tesla or whatever, you have, millions and millions of shares, and all of a sudden you just dump them all in one day, what do you think would happen? You would just destroy the value of the Tesla stock. And you might get a lot at first for your shares, but it wouldn't take long before people realize that you're selling a huge holding of them and it's getting crushed. and it's going to continue to go down. So to make the maximum amount of your money, you want to keep it kind of a secret as long as you can. Now, obviously, these big meetings and, all these countries coming together, it does draw attention. And that's why they've kind of been dragging it out a little bit. But during that time of them dragging it out, they've been reducing their position on the dollar. And they've been getting rid of those dollars and those treasury bonds. And little by little, they're holding less. And some people say, oh, well, no, they're only getting rid of them because they essentially are propping up their economy. Their economy's in trouble. And yeah, all economies are in trouble right now. Let's be honest. You may not hear that correct information, I guess you can say, on the news. You hear on the news that the economy's never been better. Look at the stock market. Look at it, this and that. You know what? The stock market is not the only indicator of an economy. I mean, yes, it is a great indicator, but there's a lot of other indicators that determine what defines a good economy. Are people working? Are there a lot of people at work? Are people complaining? Are people getting sick and tired of working just to make ends meet? Will they end up cutting back on hours? If they do cut back on hours, is it going to slow down on product sales? And this is all stuff to consider. A lot of people have this belief that when the economy tanks or really has like a big recession or a depression, that gold and silver is going to come down. And you'll have opportunities to buy on this huge dip that's just going to plunge the price. But the truth of the matter is, just because it has in the past doesn't mean that it will this time. And that's because a lot of people may be trying to get rid of that dollars at the same time as the economy's sinking. And if that happens, that can really have a big factor and a big play on prices, and specifically on gold and silver. Because if people are moving away from the dollar and you think about how many dollars are out there, well, then obviously those dollars are going to flutter into hard assets. And that could drive the prices of gold and silver up a whole lot higher than we could even expect. Right now, it's a very strong possibility that maybe the Brics countries already know what big announcement is going to be said. Every meeting, every year, they have some sort of a big announcement. What is this next one going to be? Some people are wondering if it's going to be a 40% gold-backed currency. Now, it's a possibility it will be. It's a possibility it will just be that they add a bunch of new countries to the Brics, and by all these countries joining it, they know that, well, now we'll have more GDP amongst the Brics countries than the G7 countries. And as that happens, maybe they won't all switch right off because they want to be in a good position when the time comes. They don't want to be holding a lot of dollars, essentially. They don't want to be holding a lot of treasury bonds, because when this happens and they announce it, that's it. Prices could drastically, you could see the DXY take a 20% hit. Now, here's the thing that people don't get, and we've done videos on this. When it comes to the DXY, it's set currencies. So if all those countries take hits and the US takes a hit, it's not going to really show up on the DXY, but it is going to show up in the prices. And we could end up seeing the DXY hold its ground, but then see the gold price still go up higher. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really. I mean, it's kind of sucks if you're holding a lot of dollars, but on the flip side, you're seeing your investments, I'll say, because gold and silver is an investment, despite what people say. There's a lot of people out there that are going to say gold and silver is not an investment, it's just a store of wealth. And that's a possibility. But when you have an asset that's so manipulated down, it's not just going to be a store of wealth. It's actually going to do even better. You take a look at silver being manipulated at a 85, 87 to 1. I mean, that's insane. That's clearly not fair market value when you think about it. But they have to kind of keep the price of it down because, one, they use it for a lot of industry, a lot of weapons, and they don't want people investing in it. The sheep, the masses, there's more of us, little people, than there are of them. And keep in mind, something important to remember, even the sheep in these other countries, like China, India, Russia, they're not going full into gold and silver yet. When it's announced what's going on, people are going to move their money fast. You're going to see a flood of money move into the gold and silver market. And at that point, I don't know if you guys remember after cough, we saw silver before it got beat down to $11. And then we saw it go all the way up to $29. And then it came down. But that flood of money that got pushed in, we were seeing $3 gains a day. Can you imagine waking up tomorrow morning and seeing silver at $35 and then the next day seeing it at $38 and then $41, and then all of a sudden people are going to know what's going on and they're going to be flushing their money into gold and silver, specifically silver. But people will still be buying gold. But gold is getting harder and harder for people to buy because the price is so high. I talked to one friend, he's a foreigner, and he's a firm believer in gold and silver. And he said, I think silver is going to start turning now. Why? Because people can't afford gold. People see it going up, but they can't afford to put their money into it anymore. It's just too expensive. And even in this community, I'm seeing people that are saying, it's getting too expensive. I've had to slow down my purchases or whatever. And they're correct. I mean, I was just looking online, looking for some kind of deal, but I couldn't really find anything. And so I think that's a good sign. I'm not worried in the least about any kind of a little bit of a pullback, because you could probably bet that the U.S. is going to do everything in their power to make gold and silver look like a bad investment. Don't be surprised to even see a pullback today. Personally, I think we're too close to the Brics meeting. We're too close to another Fed meeting to really see a drastic pullback. But they definitely don't want people considering anything other than the dollar right now. That's why we're seeing threats get made against some of these countries, whether that's terror threats or other types of threats. And, that doesn't work because now there's a lot of them. There's a lot of strong countries, and we can only bully essentially people into using the dollar for so long. And I think the day of that is really winding down. And if you're not stacked, you haven't been stacking gold and silver, hopefully you can maybe get somewhere this weekend to a local coin shop or whatever, pick a little bit up, try to get a deal. Don't go too crazy panicking, but definitely consider looking for some options, some kind of a deal. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up here. It is another Brics meeting, obviously, a Brics video. But I really thought it was an important topic today because we are so close. We're just 4 days now away from the Brics meeting. And who knows what's going to be said when that meeting comes out. So I hope you all have a great day. I'm going to try to have another great video planned out for you guys for tomorrow. And I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend. We're pretty much there now. You just make it through today and we're in the weekend. So take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.